It's time for Hillary Gone Mad. It's just released where she talks about Trump. She implies that he wants to kill his opponent. That's towards the end. She's interviewed by Mark Elias, who we've mentioned the other day on the Democrat side, giving a lot of trouble on Kerry Lake and elections. Welcome to Doug in Exile. This is where the happy patriots are. This is all the intro you need to know about where Mark Elias's brain is.
Joining me today is a true American hero, former United States Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
An American hero, holy moly.
Because they liked some of what he said and they didn't take it literally. They kind of took it as political rhetoric, like, okay, we're going to crack down on the border. We're for that. We want an orderly border. We want security at the border. But we want people to be treated humanely.
She's giving Trump credit for talking about the border, but she does not want a secure border after looking at what Biden did. She's crazy on that.
And I'm sure people ask you this a lot in different formulations because you have been right about everything.
She's been right about everything. Well, I know that Mark Elias is wrong about at least one thing.
And frankly, members of the press who liked covering him because he was so entertaining.
Even when she's trying to insult Trump, she ends up paying huge compliments to him being entertaining.
I feel like you were cheated. I think that your election was not on the up and up because Russia wasn't, Russia got involved and Donald Trump and all that.
Mark Elias, election denier and Russian conspiracy theorist. There's going to be a lot of that in this one too, coming from Hillary, because these people are crazy.
Maybe weren't following it as closely as I was, or understanding the interplay between what he was saying and doing and foreign interests like Russia's.
They'll never get off Russia, man. Scratch a Democrat and out comes a conspiracy theorist. These are like lefty QAnon. These are like the Illuminati people. They can't get off Russia, man. They are so sure that Russia is why Trump won.
Targeting of people, so they were being manipulated. But, that was 8 years ago. People didn't understand quite how insidious the internet could be in targeting you and feeding you information and getting you addicted and driving you down, rabbit holes by algorithms.
She's claiming the algorithm and the internet has been manipulating the right's mind toward Trump. But this is absolutely false. There's no bigger influence on the internet and big tech than the fact that they're 98% Democrats, the big tech, the biggest Silicon Valley. And I could name all the top companies, and I mean top 20 companies outside of Elon Musk's X. Their algorithms are sympathetic to the left, push the left, silence the right, deplatform the right in unprecedented numbers on censorship, and spy on the right in unprecedented numbers. Hillary's absolutely wrong on that. She's completely lying to you. So I love exposing her on my show. By the way, if you like also this exposure on my show, give us a subscribe.
I had been studying the rise of the right. I actually said there was a vast right-wing conspiracy at the end of the 1990s.
Yeah, keep saying that stuff because it helps us win elections.
Because I could see all the interconnections, but I was looking for it. I was studying it and trying to be historic about it. I knew that there'd been movements, conservative, fringe, right-wing movements in our nation's history. I knew that there was a very strong effort combining kind of the religious right with the corporate right.
And of course, she has to go after the Christians, but she's like a conspiracy theorist. She goes like, this is a vast right-wing conspiracy. I've studied it for years. You imagine her with that bulletin board with all the red yarn connecting all of the, the dark in the shadows. Horses manipulate everything. That killer communicator, Steve Bannon, and Ted Cruz, that incredibly appealing. She is a true believer, so I'll give her that. She's not lying. She's telling you what she actually believes. This is a great, transparent interview. She reveals everything.
With the ideological partisan right to do things like overturn Roe v. Wade and stack the courts with judges of their ideology and views.
Again, she says that we're stacking the courts with our ideology. That's what every president has the luxury of doing. I just want to ask her, which of the 3 Democrat-appointed justices do not share Democrat ideology, but lean right or lean conservative or lean Republican? None of them do. So if that's part of the conspiracy, well, that's literally what everyone does.
Who were almost apocalyptic in their view about what needed to happen to overthrow American culture, not just win political power, but overthrow the culture.
And once again, she's delusional. She's blind about her own side. That we're apocalyptic. Who came up with global climate change and saying the world will end and drown in a flood and all that, just across all media, taught in all public schools, pushed everywhere, and you'd lose your job, get de-canceled, get defunded if you didn't support that view? Who pushed the most apocalyptic view on and tried to overturn culture with trans queer storybook hour, anti-Roe v. Wade talk, with Black Lives Matter? Who's been more effective at manipulating and overthrowing culture than Democrats? So she says this is part of our conspiracy. They're a lot better at it than we are.
You know, I couldn't compete with Trump on the performance stage because I wouldn't go act the way he did, which kept them riveted and kept, them covering empty podiums until he showed up.
Trump, riveted. Who had more of an empty podium until they showed up than Joe Biden, who was hidden in a basement across his entire campaign? And they're going to do the same thing on this one, where they will not let him go to the podium and debate Trump because of what the horror that people will see. Once again, Hillary Clinton, blind to her own side, performing more of this conspiracy than the right ever did.
Threats that you hear coming out of Donald Trump should scare every American, because with an authoritarian, you never know what side of the bed they'll wake up on. You never know who they're going to be upset with today. You never know if somebody, basically bribes them by giving business to a relative or, some other gift.
Who bribed someone? Who gave business to more of their family members than Joe Biden? Again, I'm just laughing at her. Remember, these are the things she's accusing Trump of, giving business to his family members. As they say with Joe Biden, what is the product? What is his business? Trump owns hotels. Trump owns companies. Trump owns golf courses. What does Joe Biden sell other than his influence? Hillary?
His bromance with Putin, and it was actually called that, I think, by the former Prime Minister of Australia, who said he saw Trump with Putin, and Trump was like, just gaga over Putin, because Putin does what he would like to do, kill his opposition.
Putin kills his opposition, and that's what she says Trump wants to do. Hillary Clinton has just projected what she thinks they should do to Trump, and I'll make my case. She's already projected use of internet bias onto Trump, which they actually ended up doing, packing the Supreme Court, which is their intention. She said Trump wanted to overthrow culture, which is what they wanted to do, kept podium empty during debates, which is what they ended up doing. She said giving business to a relative, which they already did with Hunter Biden. And all this leads to her final plan, which is what they're projecting, that they intend to kill their opponent. Now, it would be impossible to kill Trump, and it's a good thing they're not trying to take away his Secret Service protection. Oh, there's Greta Van Susteren. Biden admin won't give candidate RFK Jr. Secret Service. And now this about Trump and former January 6th panel chair seeks to strip Secret Service protection from felons, and then they're going to make Trump into a felon. Here's conservative brief. No protection for Trump. A J6 committee member, Bernie Thompson, has introduced legislation that would strip Secret Service protection for any individuals who spend a year or more in prison. Now here's Trump with his Secret Service protection protecting him. Look how close someone gets to him if he were on the campaign trail and they had access to him.
The president. I guess I have to do it myself. I know it's not.
Kick his ass, Donald! Don't get him! Don't get him! Get the fuck out of here!
So that showed a nut jumping out of the crowd and how closely it would be easy for someone to sneak into Trump, and he needs his Secret Service protection. Now, here's Jack Posobiec. How was a man able to get a firebomb material that close to President Trump and a courtroom? This is about the man who lit himself on fire in New York while Trump was in court. He got really close, like probably within 100 feet. This is a massive security compromise. They need to remove his Secret Service protection, and then it's a free game on him. Here's Vivek on their final evil goals.
This system, the swamp, will stop at nothing to keep this man out of office. That's what they've made clear. First, they tried to sue him. When that didn't work, they prosecuted him. When that didn't work, they tried to remove him from the ballot. When none of it worked, they're now denying him Secret Service protection. Ask yourself what outcome they're actually rooting for. This is ugly. This is un-American. And I think they're being much more transparent about to what extent they're willing to go to achieve their single-minded objective.
Hillary projected what they intend to do. I don't know that. I don't believe in conspiracies, as you know. But this one is just systematic and too obvious and too in public. This is the most offensive thing I've ever heard. I only want to ask you, Trump is known for having a mouth, for being offensive, for saying crude, crass things. What has Trump ever said, even calling Joe Biden crooked? Has he ever said what Hillary just said about Trump? This is the most outrageous, crazy, over the top, mean thing that puts anything Trump has ever said is light by comparison. Has a statesperson ever like Trump ever seriously said, my opponent wants to kill his opposition? Hillary has a worse mouth on her than anything that's ever been said about Trump. And I'm only saying they don't take it serious when they say that they're offended by Trump. It's all fake. Okay. This is all kabuki theater for them. It's a Muppet show. They don't really mean it, because Hillary, she'll get away with it. She won't be called out by anyone.
Imprison his opposition.
Right now, you have 5 cases against Trump with their goal to actually imprison Trump, the opposition. I'm fine with Biden going to jail, but I've never seen it formally done to imprison the opposition. The Democrats actually have multi-state, multi-course, and about 50% of America agrees with the Democrat Party to try to imprison Trump to win this election. Hillary, you're guilty, and I'm laughing at you.
Drive, journalists and others into exile.
And once again, no journalists have been more canceled than on the right. More of our YouTube channels have been removed than they remove way more, probably 100 times more on the right than on the left. X, before it was owned by Elon Musk, tamping down and removing those sites. Google canceling websites and users. Bank of America canceling right-leaning people like even John Eastman, who's one of Trump's co-defendants, refusing business. It's not the journalists that are doing Trump's will. Hillary, you delusional whack person. Now she's a firm believer. Maybe they didn't go far enough for her, but this goes to show why Trump has to win, to save America, to save culture, to protect us from these lunatics. I'm Doug in Exile.